Greetings, esteemed viewer. Thank you for purchasing a Dummy's Guide to Ethical Business Practices. What you're about to see here has never been seen before, but we hope that by the end of this video, you will get a better understanding of how to ethically run a business. Without further ado, here's the first video.
Hello, I'm Park Marker, the CEO of Nike. As some of you might know, our name has been derived from the Greek goddess of victory. Nike wore the best shoes in the entire world, and our ancestors have actually documented it. Here's the picture of her adjusting her footwear. Our company's founding fathers received a revelation from above about the swooping technique of how to make victorious shoes. Well, when we started building our empire, we realized that paying minimum wage and providing secure working conditions will only be an obstacle on the pathway to the execution of our divine plan that our founding fathers and the goddess herself laid out. Hold on a second. I didn't finish my previous point. As I was saying, we aren't the only ones who didn't provide adequate working conditions. I mean, there were the Romans who used Jewish slaves to build the Colosseum, the Chinese used soldiers and convicts to build the Great Wall of China, and the Egyptians who used slaves to build the Great Pyramids. Why aren't we boycotting them? Italy, China, and Egypt are in the top 10 most visited countries in the world. At least we don't own our workers, although I was suggesting it at one of our board meetings, but they decided to take a more liberal approach. Now, to answer the question, maybe we should use animals. At least they can't complain. And I probably can talk with people from Brooklyn Zoo, see if we can make any deal. Oh, well, as for the advice, I'll give you our lawyer's contact information.
Wow, wasn't that some useful information? And that lawyer sure looks like he means business. Well then, let's move on to our next interviewee, Sonny Pitch, the CEO of Google.
My name is Sonny Pitch, CEO of Google, and we're known to give people the ability to search for anything they wish for on the internet. Well, almost everything. As you may or may not know, our services in China required a different search engine because Chinese citizens had trouble accessing topics that were sensitive to the Chinese government. Talk about invasion of privacy, am I right? If anything, our company is all in for supplying people the information they need at the tip of their fingertips, quite literally, I may add. So we did everything in our power to get Chinese citizens the access that they wanted. We thought people would be happy now that they were able to surf the web. Instead, we were accused of violating the rights of Chinese people. China was dealing with an era of censorship to which our services had to comply with. So we did what we had to do, which involved filtering the internet and allowing users to access information that was unrestricted by the Chinese government. But people did not care that we had to go through all this trouble just to get Chinese citizens internet access, and ignored the fact that the government didn't even tell us what we should filter. All they thought was that we violated people's rights to freedom of expression and information. First off, in order to solve a problem, there has to be a problem. And I don't think we have a problem. Frankly speaking, I believe that our actions were justified. People have to know that making such decisions isn't easy. We made the right choice, though many may disagree. My advice would be, for when you sit down to try to figure out what you should do with your business, just remember, moral compromise isn't personal, it's strictly business. Rules are made to be broken. That's all I have to say.
That's some great advice. I'll make sure to keep that in mind if I ever decide to open a business, which, looking at the way these businesses are behaving, will probably never happen. But that's besides the point. I'm sure these CEOs are experienced in their field and know exactly what is good for their businesses. Let's move on to the next interview.
My name is Ball Polk, and I am the CEO of Nestle. And my company has over 8,500 brands, so sometimes it can get a little hard to manage all of them properly. But we try to do our best, all the while increasing our profits, of course. As I said before, we have a lot of brands in the company, and every now and then, some of our products get falsely labeled. Now, this false advertising, as our critics like to call it, brought some hate to our company, but I think after this little debacle, the company became even more popular because we're in the news headlines and everything. That's so cool, right? Best advice I have for all the other companies is to make your instructions and directions for your products very confusing and unclear. So take our baby formula, for example. We didn't make it clear that in order to get the best results out of our products that you needed to use clean water. But there were these incompetent women who decided to use unclean water. Now, they didn't follow our directions, so I don't think it's entirely our fault. As for solving our problem, I don't think we really need to do anything because the media did it all for us. Just remember, if your company realizes that these issues like these are causing these problems for the public, just ignore them and continue misleading the consumers. Now that is maximizing profits.
Mr. Polkel sounds like such an easygoing person that I can't seem to wrap my head around why his company has been getting so much hate. He does make a good point when it comes to consumers reading the labels correctly. Anyway, let's move on to our last interview.
Who am I? Well, I'm Mike Evries. I'm one of the slickest, slimiest CEOs on the planet, and I run Abercrombie & Fitch. Also, I pretty much made A&F into the most hated brand that it is now. Now, you might be wondering, Ike, how do you keep your cool when all these people are coming after you with their absurd complaints? Here's the truth. It's all about maintaining an image, folks. For example, we wanted an attractive customer base. Simple enough. So what we did is we moved all the black people to work in the back, stopped stocking clothes for those obese whales at the food court, and decided to give our little lady customers sexy clothes that bordered on pedophilic. See? Problem solved. Maintaining a nice image of your company is as easy as that. Go. I didn't get to finish my previous point. So, as I was saying, it's also all about the press and how often you get in it. And we've been there plenty of times. Like that guy Mike, who videotaped a minor in one of our dressing rooms. I remember that story got us a lot of attention in the press, and we got a lot more people looking at our store. To be completely fair though, she looked like the attractive, all-American kid. And candidly, we go after the cool kids. My brand is an award-winning brand that these fat losers can't even touch. For example, I was honored to find out that my company was placed in the 2010 ILR Sweatshop Hall of Fame. Can you believe it? Some bozos raggled on at me about how I didn't keep the workers who wanted a union. But, whatever. Not like they can afford our clothes anyway. My advice to those companies who are going through what we were through would be just to do what you do and don't let anyone get in your way. That's exactly what I did with my company, and look where that got us. We're on top of the world, ladies and gentlemen, on top of the world. Yeah, we're good.
Woo! That was one interesting story. I never knew what ignorance is bliss meant until hearing that interview. Well, that's all we have for you in this volume, folks. We hope it gave you a better understanding of how to make those tough decisions and how to overcome ethical problems. Still unsure of what to do? Make sure to purchase our book, The Business of Ethics, Problems You May Come Across and How to Avoid Them, with expert testimony from some of the very CEOs you heard from in this video. Who better to tell you what to do than the experts themselves? Thanks for watching and stay out of jail.